I decided to take a break from refreshing my inbox, waiting for my invitation to pre-order a Switch 2 to arrive, to take a look at the main theme for the new Mario Kart World. The game certainly got big tires to fill in the music department. People forget that Mario Kart 8 was a Wii U game, and to celebrate the series' first foray into high definition, the soundtrack was recorded with a live band made up of a who's who of Japanese jazz fusion players, featuring members of T-Square, Dimension, and the screaming lead lines of legendary trumpeter Eric Miyashiro. The genius arranging and powerhouse band gave us one of the best video game soundtracks of all time, offering the high energy and drive needed to score a Mario Kart game, along with some of the most memorable moments and seriously shredding sax solos in gaming. How on earth could Mario Kart World live up to this soundtrack? If you get all the same people together and just do it again, it won't have the same impact that it had the first time around. But if you do something different, it's not going to live up to expectations. The Mario Kart 8 band sound is just perfect for the game. I'm sure the designers had to tackle the same dilemma with all aspects of the new game after Mario Kart 8 was ported to the Switch and proceeded to outsell hotcakes. What do you do with a sequel to a game that delivers the perfect, most quintessential Mario Kart experience? Even without having had the chance, or an invitation, to play the game, it's clear from what Nintendo's shown of the game so far how they solved this problem. It sounds like they got all the same people together to do it again, but this time with the spirit of the American frontier. The new direction with Mario Kart World is off-road, having you drive into wild territory with 23 of your closest friends to engage in cross-country races, and the game's main theme supports this with the same high-octane jazz fusion orchestration from Mario Kart 8, but with a new rockabilly aesthetic. The slick, syncopated 16th note lines and slap bass fills are traded out for a bouncing backbeat. The full horn section and shredding electric guitars are joined by bluesy harmonica solos. And as we'll see, the jazz fusion mainstays of major 7th chords and sus chords are traded out for a harmonic palette drawn from classic rock. Even with these changes, the music has a powerful groove and an infectious energy that perfectly pumps players up to hit the road. So, let's go through the piece and break down what makes it work. The big addition to the music is the introduction of a blues influence, and I'm not just talking about throwing a harmonica into the band. The influence goes into a deeper compositional level. See, the melody is written with a call and response structure. Each phrase is a little different, but each is answered with the same repeated main figure, introduced first by this solo harmonica. Flat 7 to 1, flat 7 to 1. This is the essence of call and response playing. The call changes a bit every time, but the response stays the same. This is a staple of traditional African music, and so found its way into American blues and gospel music, and we see it used here to evoke a distinctly American musical quality. You'll notice too that each phrase of the melody, both the calls and the responses, leans heavily on blue notes. These would be the flat 7th, the sort of in-between major and minor 3rd, and the flat 5th, used to decorate a melody. The major innovation of the blues was that you could use notes from outside the framework of scale tones or chord tones to access more emotional possibilities with a melody. We're not using a Mixolydian scale or outlining a chord with both major and minor 3rds. We're treating the melody with a malleability that gives us the rawness and energy of the blues. This rawness is certainly not accessed by running up and down a blues scale, although this Mario Kart melody does just run straight down the blues scale at one point. Anyway, we see these melodic techniques accessed successfully here. The repeated response figure is a resolution from flat 7 to 1, and the various call phrases are constantly scooping up into the blue 3rd, which clashes against the major 3rd in the harmony. In looking at the harmony, though, it's clear that Mario Kart World isn't drawing directly from the blues, but from the blues' most successful progeny, classic rock. The flat 7 resolving up to the root, rather than the more straight-laced major 7, almost single-handedly defined the era of rock from the Kinks to the Beatles through the 70s and 80s. This response figure from the melody is literally just this resolution, straight to the point. And the chords. What musical analysis would be complete without throwing Roman numerals over some chords, eh? The chords follow a looping progression of F sharp to E to A to B, the 1, flat 7, flat 3, and 4 chords. Yes, this piece also incorporates the rock genre's complete disregard for how my sheet music will look transcribing a blues in F sharp. This kind of progression is pure classic rock vocabulary. Ironically, most of these innovations were spearheaded by British musicians. Bands like the Beatles and The Who figured out how to expand on the sound of the blues, breaking away from just the 5-4-1 cadence with dominant sevenths included on everything, and incorporate some different colors into the music while maintaining the same rawness and energy. The flat 7 chord is a big substitute for the 5 chord, but also this flat 3 to 4 to 1 cadence is basically rock's answer to the classical tradition's 4-5-1. This cadence resonates through every member of the boomer generation. Played full tilt by the harmonica and doubled by the distorted electric guitar, we have a recipe for that classic bluesy rock sound. Now, the interesting thing about this is that the blues is famously not very upbeat. It's actually supposed to be a little depressing. Even classic rock, which does get fast and loud, captures more of a feeling of rage and youthful rebellion than the spirit of friendly competition that Nintendo would want for Mario Kart. Japanese jazz fusion, for as much as it draws from American music, really doesn't have much blues DNA in it. In fact, I tend to think of Japanese jazz fusion as a what-if 70s American jazz fusion didn't have any blues influence, which I love. No shade, I'm not one of these people who thinks that if there's no blues in the music, it's not real music. But it is cool to see Mario Kart World's theme take these explicitly American elements, the swung feel, the upbeat two-step drum part, and the reckless energy and harmony of classic rock, and incorporate them into the fired-up and unapologetically optimistic sound of Japanese jazz fusion. It's a perfect combination for a Mario Kart game. The piece is not without its moments of jazz fusion weirdness, including an honest-to-goodness metric modulation. After a couple of statements of the melody, the band moves to these big quarter-note triplets over a heavy tom groove, implying a slower 12/8 feel over top of the original 4/4 meter. The chord switches to an F-sharp minor rather than major, with the keyboard filling in the space between the hits with a classic funk type of movement. 5 to the raised 6, to the flat 7, and down to the raised 6 again. Over top of this change, the electric guitar pays respects to the one that started it all by bringing back the title theme to the original Super Mario Kart from all the way back in 1992. Actually, every Mario Kart game has quoted this melody in their respective title screens, but this interpretation might stray the most from the original version. Compared to Mario Kart 8's take on the same quote, which was to play it down pretty much exactly as it was in the original but with a live band, we can see the attitude of each game clearly. Mario Kart 8 was giving us the quintessential Mario Kart experience, but with modern equipment. Live band, high definition, online play, all the bells and whistles. Now Mario Kart World is taking that core experience and twisting it and stretching it to see if it can make something else equally interesting and fun out of the same pieces. I also appreciate what this quote does to the harmony. The original title screen theme melody followed the chords, moving from the 6 chord to the dominant 2 chord to the sus 5 chord and resolving to the 1. The dominant 2 chord is striking and bright, but the beautiful extended sus 5 chord to 1 brings us home in a nice, warm way. In World, the melody is played over top of our heavy F-sharp bass pedal, so we get this implied F-sharp minor to G-sharp over F-sharp minor move, which sounds really raunchy. Breaking out of the tumbling 12/8 meter and back into our bouncy 4/4 time feels so good, and this is where the piece starts building up towards a finale. The horns restate our main theme, or at least the calls from it. The response motif gets replaced by shredding electric guitar. The guitar and harmonica come back in for the melody and everybody starts to stretch out. We get these great walking bass lines, offbeat horn punches, shredding harmonica fills, and the arrival of the tambourine, which keeps pushing the energy higher and higher. The whole thing culminates in this wild 2-bar fill with drums, bass, and harmonica all going crazy until the band comes in for one last response to close the piece at its climax. This kind of messy group improv has so much energy. It facilitates such a perfect crescendo through the end of the piece, and it's a testament to what you can do with a live band that you just can't do with programmed music. There's so much information to take in between the harmonica lines and guitar and horn stabs and bass fills. The piece really manages to capture the chaos and excitement that you could imagine would ensue with a 24-player Mario Kart race. I shudder to think of the blue shells that'll be raining down on me once I get my damn Could it be? Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're enjoying the game if you could get your hands on it, and please consider supporting the channel via my Patreon page. I throw up all the transcriptions that I make for my videos there, and there are some pretty nice Mario Kart ones included this time. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.